Hi, and welcome to another episode of Canadianish Comedians. I'm Julie Betts.
And I'm Laura Toogood.
And today our guest is Jane Luke. Yay! Hey, Jane. Jane is an actor, improviser, and writer. I would start by listing all of your credits, but we like to keep our podcast to under 5 hours. Right? So just off the top of my head, Polka Dot Door you were on, which is amazing. Kim's Convenience, both the TV show and the theater production. The Handmaid's Tale, again, another of my favorites. Murdoch Mysteries, the JFL World Improv Tournament web series, which you were hilarious. The wedding scene where you were the drunk
Wedding
bride.
Ring?
Wedding ring, sorry, was hilariously funny.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you also now have your new web series, Streams Flow from a River.
Yeah.
And Chateau Laurier, which is another one that you're in, which has won 60 awards from and counting from various film festivals in North America, not to mention the numerous plays, improv shows, the fact that you teach improv, you direct plays, you do voiceovers. When do you sleep?
That is a problem I've been having, actually, seriously. So trying to figure that out. But on a more not so literal level.
Mhm.
I feel like as humans, I think being able to create is one of our greatest gifts. And we all have it. And to create just I don't know, broadens everything. Your expands your mind, expands your awareness. So, and I didn't go seeking any of these things. They sort of just appeared, and I thought, okay, I think I'll go down this path. So, and I didn't do them all at the same time. So,
could you imagine?
You gotta pace yourself. No, but I started out as I always had this laser focus to be a performer more than anything else, and then as I went on this road, then other avenues sort of showed up. And like, for instance, directing, which is something I've been doing a little bit more lately, never thought I could direct. But then people said, well, you teach. I thought, yeah, I do. So, well, in a way, it's a type of guidance. So, so anyway, that's another avenue I started looking at, because I don't look at directing as necessarily teaching. I mean, there is a bit of that, but it's a friend once said to me, like, the best director in his mind was to be a facilitator, which is to see what people bring to the table, and then for you to sort of expand on that. And that's exactly, and it's all part of improv, which is a huge part of my background, which is to say yes and to what I see in front of me. So I mean, still scares the heck out of me to direct a bunch of people. But once you get into it, I just have the mindset of, I'm here to guide what they have already. It's not just all what I'm thinking they should do. It's just, I'm just sort of corralling and sort of shaping, because I have the outside eye. So anyway, so my most recent project was at University of Windsor, and that was huge project, but it was all about problem solving. I think that's what a director does. It's like constantly watching and problem solving, which is why the height of concentration is just it was so high for me. Just because you're watching, you're listening, and you're problem solving, and you're sort of tabulating, because that's not working and that's not working. And I think my being an improviser for years allowed me to just quickly assess and, like, okay, they need to face that way, they need to do that, they need to, like, it was so such a useful tool. So I don't know if I answered that question or
no, you did
absolutely.
But you probably answered a whole bunch of our other questions in that one answer, which is
I know,
awesome.
Right? Well, we'll figure it out.
We'll go back.
So tell us about your humble beginnings. What started it all, and what drove you where you ended up?
Right by the beach. Yes. Woohoo! Lucky you.
By the way, you're the first ones to see this background working. It hasn't worked ever, but it's working pretty well right now. Okay, my humble beginnings. Well, I grew up on a farm. My parents, we ran a family farm in the Holland Marsh, And it was backbreaking work. It really was. And much to my dad's chagrin, he had 3 daughters and 1 son. So all these women, and just, not having the strength, he thought, to run the farm. But we did. Oh boy. Like, we hoisted stuff, we lifted crates. So it was a vegetable farm. So we didn't have to take
on Bathurst by any chance?
no,
Dufferin?
way up in Holland Marsh.
We're from that area. So we totally
Main
know.
Street, oddly
It's-
enough, Jane. If you
Yeah.
go scroll west,
Yep.
Jane,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the 400
Yeah.
Yeah.
out in that area.
Mhm.
Yeah, and they sold the farm quite a while ago, but I can still
Yeah.
see it when I drive when I'm going northbound on the 400. But
Nice.
yeah, just being on the farm and just knowing that this is not, I'm just, biding my time here. This is not where I want to stay.
You were watching Green Acres?
What's that?
You were more like Eva Gabor, or was it Zsa Zsa Gabor at
No, it was
Green
Ava.
Acres? Oh, Eva. Okay.
Yeah, Ava Gabor. Yeah, she wanted to be back in the big city of New York. But I had never been to New York. But I just, growing up, like I don't know, my parents were first generation immigrants here. So my mother didn't speak English. My father spoke some. My father was amazing with picking up languages. And so and back in those days, like on the farm, when we were little, we couldn't go out to work. The TV became our babysitter. So my parents would go out, and I was the oldest, so I would look after my siblings. And through osmosis, I kind of learned English, but I didn't really fully learn until I was 6 years old when I went to school. Yeah, so it was really, I can't believe it, but I have no trace of an accent, but apparently I had an accent because I only spoke with my mom in the household. But I learned to speak English, and a lot of hard lessons. I was in the corner a lot because I didn't know the teacher was saying stop talking, and I thought she meant keep talking. So okay, and then I'd be sent to the corner, and I'm like, I don't know why I'm over here, like not knowing. And they were not great. Anyway, back to the TV. I remember watching all these shows, and one of them was Carol Burnett. And I remember thinking, I don't know what she's doing exactly, but I want to do what she's doing. Like, I thought, I know she's being entertaining, and she's doing a show with all these people. And I really saw myself wanting to do that. And from that moment on, it was a laser focus, as I said, to be a performer. As I got into high school, I started thinking, oh, everybody dreams about that, don't they? They all dream about being a movie star. And then the funniest thing is I really liked my guidance counselor at the time. So I said, I don't know what to do. She said, why don't you take an aptitude test? So I took one of those tests. I don't know if you ever did this. Like,
oh, for sure.
would you rather be I don't know, making a delicious meal or painting a sign? Like, you had to decide. I don't know who came up with that test, but anyway, by the end of it,
because that was the only question.
Yeah.
I hinged it all on painting.
Right.
But anyway, it was all really odd stuff like that. And at the end, she said, well, Jane, apparently you need to do something where you're in front of an audience. I said, oh my
wow.
God. Now it could be teaching.
Yeah.
It could be, and it could be acting. It could be directing or whatever. So anyway, that told me, I said, okay, then that's what I need to focus on. And then I had to, what's that?
I was going to say, how happy were your parents when you went home and go, guess what, Mom and Dad?
That's what I'm getting next to, because they did not want me to do that. No, it's perfectly fine, because that's exactly where I was going. And and where my mom grew up, being an actor was kind of on par with porn, like adult film. So she was like, oh, it's not a good profession. And she was she's a devout Catholic. So anyway, I had to figure out a way. I said, well, it's not like that in Canada. It's not the same. And I found this one, I don't know where I found this quote or whatever. It was for this school. and it said something to the effect of all their students will get work and or something to that effect. So I showed it to my dad. I said, look at all the people that go to this school. They say, they become actors and they get work. So that of course, my parents' generation was all about, money equals success.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, okay, all right. So anyway, I just thought, I can't believe I got by that one. But I ended up going to Humber and did the theater program there. And started again, the learning was amazing because I don't know if the program's the same now, but at the time, as a first year, we support the production.
Mhm.
So they put me on wardrobe. So I kind of knew how to sew, but I remember I had to make a suit for someone. I was like, oh, okay. I had help, but I just thought like every step of the way, I remember the teacher would say, okay, now you're going to sew along here. Now you're going to put this together. And so I couldn't believe it. And I had to make 2 of them because one was for the understudy. So I just thought, oh my God, I made a suit. It was such an amazing sense of accomplishment. And then
That's huge.
Yeah, it is when you learn a new skill. Like, I mean, that's still creating, right? That's still expanding your brain and your mind. So yeah, anyway. So from there, I went to theater school, and then I want to touch on improv because it's become such a huge and prevalent part of my life. When I graduated, some friends had said, hey, you know what, there's a thing called theater sports. It's like a improv and they do it in front of an audience. And I thought, I don't want to do that. Like, why do I want to do that? Who wants to see that? So this went on for quite a few years, and they finally said, you should try to see what it's like. I said, no, not for me. And then I did a show with my friend Barb Mueller. It was a community theater because I was just still new. And at the end of it, Barb she's very funny. But she said, I'm going to take classes at Second City. I said, oh, you too? Like improv? I said, how do you learn improv? She says, come take a class with me.
Yeah.
Come take it with me and find out. So I thought, okay. I was so nervous because I thought, I studied theater. Isn't this going against what I learned? And so I'm a pretty good student. So when I thought, okay, and I just had my eyes wide open and listened and just did all the exercises. And I just thought, okay, this is okay. And after a while, I started noticing people asking me before class, like, I want to do a scene with you. I said, okay, just jump up, do a scene with me. And more people did that. And I thought, why are people saying this to me? They can just jump up. And so I talked to Alan Gutman, who was my teacher by that time, because I had gone through Sandra Balkowski, who was the best first-time improvising teacher. She was so great, got me really engaged and loved it. And then I went on to Alan's class. And so I told Alan what was happening. And he said, well, Jane, you are quite funny. I said, what? And I was not expecting that. I just thought, I don't think people think I'm funny. And that was the first time that I had heard that. And because they're just trying to make sure they get in a scene with you when they come to class. I thought, oh my God. And
That's
I
awesome.
didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah. That's a big compliment because when like teaching or even doing improv, if you get somebody that isn't necessarily as adept at it, it's much harder to have a scene with someone, as Laura just said, that isn't as giving or just doesn't know how to react. So yeah, we know that you're really funny. That's why we have you on the show.
Aww.
Yay.
I think I learned something really important about that. And I take it forward with me as that the value of staying humble, of humility, no matter what, because I did a show not too long ago and with people I knew a couple of the people, but I didn't end up working with them. And it's all this new generation of improvising. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, okay, I can't rest on my laurels and say, yeah, I know what I'm doing. It's like all these new references that are coming up, all a different style of like, not different, it's different than what I do now,
Mhm.
which is based more in a kind of a reality. Is I'm noticing more of it as let's go surreal, like not that we didn't do it before, but it's a little more commentary. I noticed that people were commenting on the scenes quite a
Mhm.
bit, which I thought, okay, I remember doing that, and I thought, well, it takes me out, so I don't want to comment on the scene. I don't know if you know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so I just had to, okay, they're doing that, and so I have to really pay attention. So yeah, it was humbling. I thought, okay, this I wasn't feeling great, I'll be honest. But then I thought, no, I learned a lot though. Like it brought back the idea of just the hardest and the simplest thing I can do is just listen and watch and react.
Mhm.
That's all I can do.
Yeah.
And my number one rule for myself, even for my students and for myself, is don't try to be funny.
Yeah.
I don't always stick to that rule. Sometimes I do. And I thought, yeah, see, you try to be funny. And it's like, sometimes you fall flat on your face.
Yeah.
So yeah, but be open to just be open to that. Like, just like I have to be aware, like, okay, I did that. The temptation is there. It's like, because everyone loves to be able to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
So I know. Oh,
yeah, go ahead. No,
I was going to say, when we were in all the classes that we ever did, through the teachers that we've had, one of the things that they said is improv doesn't always have to be funny. It can be a compelling story and be just as successful as something that is funny, but I don't know. I like to be funny. So I'm like always looking for like, how am I going to turn that around and make it into something funny? It's hard. It's hard not to.
And you mean porn?
Yes, because I like porn.
porn can be funny.
Oh, most porn is very funny. Right.
But the thing is, Julie, when you're doing those shows, it's packaged as comedy.
Yes.
So that's why you're focused. You're
Should
slightly
be.
pressured into going in that direction.
Yeah.
The show I just directed was very, oh God, I did it to myself. So I was asked to direct something, and then some of the offerings that they had given me, they said fell through. So they said, you find something. So I happened upon a book of plays called 365 Days, 365 Plays.
Yeah.
Written by Susan Lloyd Parks. So she wrote a play a day for a year, 365 plays. And so I thought, maybe I'll just pick some out. I'll just pick out maybe 30 of them, and hopefully that'll fill an hour and a bit. And the person who brought me in into University of Windsor, Lee, had said maybe 40, because some of these, I don't know if you ever see this book, some of the plays are like 5 lines of dialogue.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sometimes it's just a description of a bunch of people doing something. Sometimes it's a joke that she tells in a very surreal way. So it's all over the map. But there are some that are like maybe 3 pages long. So I collected 40 of these.
Wow.
And keeping in mind it's theatrical. So some of them, she had well, I did too. I have to say, I had a darker sense of humor than I do now, but because of COVID, and also, well, anyway, I had cancer in 2006, and it was thyroid cancer, and I'm all good. I'm always checking it annually, but that did something to me too, where I just thought, oh, I can't go dark right now,
Yeah.
and my psyche was just protecting me, I think.
So,
and she wrote this in 2001. It was published in 2002. So a lot of her scenes had violent endings, which I remember, 20 years ago, that was seen as funny.
Yeah.
Like, hey, shut up or I'm going to have to kill you. Oh, I'm not going to shut up. And then bang. So that would be the punchline. And she had a lot of those. And I just thought, I have to change this.
Yep.
Yeah. So some of the scenes, I let the students sort of like the actors, I should call them actors,
Mhm.
improvise a little bit around the area, and then we brought it back to the script, and we did some changes so that it was the same idea, but
Mhm.
not quite so overt in terms of like shooting someone.
Okay.
So yeah, I had to be like, a lot of them I just couldn't. I thought, no, I can't choose that one. It's just that
Mhm.
has to happen, and I just don't want to choose that. So yeah, it was like a big giant sketch show, but
Yeah.
with theatrical elements, and some of them were serious, and some of them weren't. I mean, so funny.
Mhm.
So in answer to your question, or to um your comment about it always being serious or whatever, or always being funny, I mean,
Mhm.
um yeah, it was very useful to see it in that context.
Yeah.
So, but you're absolutely right. Like when I'm doing an improv show, if I usually people are expecting it to be funny.
Mhm. Mhm.
So your job, my job is to like, yes, have that big picture, but
Yeah.
just for me, I just try to be as real as I can, but with a slight comedic bent.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, yeah, or have
That's great.
play a character with a whatever the quirk is, that's follow that through and see what happens.
Mhm. Do you find that it's changed a lot, like just comedy in general too? That like point in proof is that you said, that book was written in 2000, did you say 2001?
Do that, yeah.
And the comedy then that was acceptable compared to now, like it's you walk such a finer line because everybody is, or more people are more sensitive to certain aspects of comedy. And how do you adjust to that? Like, do you find that your comedy has changed because of that?
I think I keep acclimatizing, and I'm not changing um to appease anyone.
Okay.
Of course, I mean, we're more like, I don't say anything, I don't create characters necessarily who are homophobic. Not to
Mhm.
say that I won't, because it'll serve a cause. So if someone is trying to, like, I mean, you have to have black and white, you have to have the good
Mhm.
and the evil. In order to show the good, you have to have evil to showcase, to highlight that.
Yeah.
So, but I've noticed that my language has changed, and it's as I said, not to appease anyone necessarily, but it's just what I feel comfortable.
Mhm.
Things that I don't feel comfortable about me being said about me
Yeah.
or the community I'm from. So there is that. And I remember hearing this is mostly in stand-up, where I used to say anything is up for grabs. Any group of people can be equally made fun of.
Mhm.
I'm thinking, but they're not. because,
Yeah.
No.
because the power balance is in your favor if you're a white guy.
Yeah.
So no, not everything is up for grabs. So yeah, and because women are getting stronger, um, the other night I saw so many amazing, like it was like people of color going up in groups. I'm like, oh my God, wow. It was so exciting to watch new improvisers who, like, because I didn't have the courage, really. It took me several years before I even went to Second City to take a class. But here were these people who are younger generation, but just holy, like just so much confidence and encouragement from the community. So I thought that was really, really fun, really great to see.
Where was that?
At the SoCap, at the Social
Okay.
Capital
Yeah.
Comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. We know that place
We
very
know
well.
that place well. It
Are
is
you still
fun.
improvising? Like, are you still improvising in Newmarket, or?
No, it kind of our teacher, Peter Chanfrani. Do you know him? He was around when Herbie was there. And
Oh, yes, I do.
yes,
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was the one that initially got us all together, and he was running at that point, I guess he had taken over Triptych Comedy Lounge. Wasn't that what it was called? Triptych
Mhm.
Comedy Lounge.
Yep.
Yep. So he was doing that. And then it just kind of fell apart, not enough people. It was the same, like 5 or 6 people every week, no new blood coming in. And I think he just got kind of tired of it. And then it was not too far before COVID happened. Like, we would love to get something going up here again, whether it's us trying to convince people and finding a space and getting some things happening, because I miss it. It was so much fun. And for us to go down to the city all the time is hard, because we both work full time. In the winter, it's like the drive into Toronto is a little bit on the brutal side, but it was a lot of fun.
Price of gases.
Oh, I know. I go to Costco.
Yeah.
It's the lowest price in town for me.
When I was, I guess, at your place on Saturday, and gas was $1.50. When I got back up to my place, it was still at $1.36.
Wow.
But the petro had jumped to, I think, $1.49. And I thought, I should have got gassed up at the Esso, but doesn't matter. It's moot now. I don't go anywhere, so why?
No.
I use an app called Gas Buddy. I don't know if they're going to get me anything. It's a free app anyway. But it shows you all the local, like based on where you are, the local places.
Gas Buddy.
Yeah. And I always, Costco is the lowest price in town. I always. Yeah. So
it's the lineups though that kill me for Costco. Like, you're going to save 50 cents, but then you're in line wasting like 50 cents worth of gas. Some of the times it's like,
you save more than 50 cents. Really. But no, it depends on, there's a couple that are kind of close to me. So I'll go during the week.
Oh, that's good.
I'll go during the week, and I'll go like 2:00 in the afternoon or something. And the most I wait is maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. But you say, like, I go there to fill up half a tank or more. So I save between, $3 to $5. And
that's good.
Yeah. It's not 50 cents.
There goes our Costco sponsorship. Right?
What? No, I'm endorsing them.
No, you are. Yes. They'll be like, where's that Jane Luke lady?
Well, the Costco and Newmarket, if they would give some
right.
incentives.
They should. Oh, so fun. So what do you feel women in comedy should be doing more of, and or maybe less of?
More of or less of? Well, I think they're doing a lot. Just getting in front of people. So it's different. I think stand-up is a different animal than say than for improv obviously. I did do stand-up a couple of times, and I just thought it scares me so much, and that I feel like I should do it again.
Can I just interrupt you?
Sure.
I know that it was a little bit more storytelling than stand-up, but the story that you did at the show that we saw you in, the fundraiser for Bob, where you talked about, you talked with a Chinese accent, and you were,
yes.
Oh my goodness, you could take that on the road any day and I would follow you and listen to it 100 times. Like, it was so good. You're so funny.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Honestly.
Yeah, that was the stand-up I took to Winnipeg Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
And it was more of a story time. Mine was it was 10 minutes long, but it was an entire piece. Yeah. And because it tied in at the end, it ties back into the front to the top. And they said to me, we can't air your piece, because when we do, we have to take snippets. Like all the other stand-ups, they did jokes.
Oh, yes.
That we can't. So what they did was Dean Jenkinson was really nice. He said, Jane, I have an audio recording. I don't have a video recording, but if you want, I'll send it to you. So anyway, I have it somewhere, but yeah, that's old. Like, that's really, really old. I sort of updated it a little bit.
Okay.
But I still thought it was kind of relevant. So yeah, but yeah, that's just it. I'm not a stand-up. I did a story more, like, I think some people do that. Some people do, but yeah, I don't know. I just think women, back to your question, I think just to like find a way, decide to believe in yourself. You have to make that decision.
Mhm.
I have decided that, like, I mean, Kelly Zemnickas, I can't get over how she decided, because I didn't know she was going to pursue stand up this hard, but she did. And she got onto all these different shows and online, but I mean, but some of them are in person, like in New York, and parts of the US. So I thought it's pretty amazing.
Mhm.
But and just don't be afraid of failing, or whatever you think failing is.
Yeah.
Just take the opportunities of something that didn't come out as well as you thought it would, to really look deep and say, what did I learn from that? Like what I was telling you about the improv set that I did, where I thought, okay, I didn't do as great as I thought, but what did I learn from that?
Mhm.
Yeah, and just, you have to find ways to pick yourself up. And I'm just, it's International Women's Day in a couple of days.
It is.
So
It is.
yeah.
It's we just went and saw a show on the weekend with Martha Chavez and Sabrina Douglas, and they were awesome, and a couple other comedians. And it was
Sabrina Jellies, or
Sabrina Douglas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
So we went and saw that, and it was so great. It was like the entire cast was women in celebration of International Women's Day. And part of, again, we always say it every podcast, but part of the reason why we started this was to bring more exposure to female and marginalized people in the comedy community. And it's been great so far. Like it's amazing how much women support other women within the comedy community. And I just hope that that's something that we just see continuing to happen and happen and happen, you know?
Yeah, it's so true. This summer I'm going to be at Stratford.
Yes.
And I'm going to be in a show called Les Belles Soeurs. It's an all-female cast. And it's not my first time being in an all-female cast, but you absolutely, all the things you said, women help each other.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say all the time, because it's not absolute. But for the most part, I find that women immediately most women have this immediate shorthand with each other, where we just have this innate nature to help each other, to support and to nurture. So I am just really, really looking forward to it. It's scary and exciting at the same time, because I'm going to be in a cast with some veteran actors, for sure. And also Esther Jun, who's the director, she's decided to just do an all-out sort of, I don't want to call it blind casting, because that's kind of what people have called it, but sort of like an overall casting, meaning I'm playing one of the sisters, but my other two sisters are being played by Shauna McKenna and Lucy Peacock.
Nice.
And it's just accepted. And the same with her production with Little Women. She had also, mixed ethnicities as the family. And that's what I always thought theater was. It's like theater is a space where you can actually suspend belief even more, because you're already in a theater. Like, do you really believe that this is, I don't know, a castle?
Yeah.
Where, we're in medieval times? Like, do you really believe that? So we're already working that hard to suspend our beliefs. Why not suspend to watch the best actors for the role?
It's awesome.
So anyway, I think she's pretty awesome to take an opportunity in her position as a director to say, no, these are the people I want to play these roles.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we're starting to see more of that, thankfully, with everything in like little increments. And it's like it will be amazing one day when it is across the board, that you hire the best person with the most amount of talent for the role, as opposed to, nope, she has to be blonde, 5'6", blue-eyed, whatever. It'll be really interesting to see how quickly that progresses, or as it continues to progress, how much more we're seeing of it. So,
And I think to see it on Stratford stage is huge.
yeah.
I think it says a lot. And
That's
I think
great.
they're doing it at Shaw a little bit as well. I saw it in I don't know if you know the show, the series is called The Great. It was on
Oh,
Time.
yeah. Catherine the Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so
with
That
cool.
one. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just thought what I loved about it was that they didn't explain
Yeah.
why this character was Black or South Asian or
Yep.
Asian or anything. They were
They were
just
there.
there.
Yep.
And I
Well,
loved that because I thought, wow, because I did get past it pretty fast.
mhm.
If people are too fixated on that, it's like you're not watching it for the right reason.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So yeah. Anyway, so that's the only show I've really seen it.
No, there was that other one with it was a period piece as well, the one that everybody went gaga over during the
Bridgerton?
pandemic. Yes.
Bridgerton. I went gaga at first, and then I thought, and then after I learned a few episodes, I thought, oh, she's explaining why there are people who are Black and why they were there. And I just thought, oh, okay, I wish she hadn't done that. I wish
Okay.
that didn't happen. It was like, because a long time ago, there like a very rich white aristocrat married, fell in love with a Black woman, and I just thought, oh, I wish she hadn't. That wasn't the circumstance. I wish it was just happening.
Just done. Yeah. I guess at first it was like, okay, so the queen is Black. That's kind of cool that they're doing that. And the love interest is Black. And, they have some Asian people here and some Indian people. And to me, I was like, thinking back historically, like the British court was very white back in those days, right?
As far as we know, because
as far as we know,
history books are written and how we've seen media in the past. So it's interesting. I always think about that now because I've had this someone else say to me, because yeah, but we all know. I said, how do we know? Were you there?
Yeah.
You were there. You're getting your information through a filter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so part of, you were talking about my stand-up and how because I remember, and it was so true, when the first Anne of Green Gables came on, or Wind at My Back, and eventually they did have people of color, but it was very specific that you knew that the reason why we have this person, we're going to have to explain why. Like my friend Giovanni C was there, and he who was East Asian, and had to explain. I mean, they made him a this character who was very well liked. I'm thinking, yeah, okay, but you're still. It was kind of it was tokenized.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All my friends who worked on Wind Up My Back, you had to work, and they were great. But I couldn't get an audition even if I tried, because I thought, no, it's very different now though.
Oh, yeah.
So what's happened is in the past, because I've worked on Murdoch twice now.
Mm-hmm.
And really and each experience has gotten better. So because I'm never going to be on Murdoch. And then the first time it came up, I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting. And then the second time I came on as a different character was even better, an even better experience, because the person that they brought in to direct, Sharon Lewis, who's now doing all these big, huge things in the States, like Sharon and I started as actors, like way back in the day. And then she got more into directing, and she was amazing. To have an ally like that in a show like that was huge. So that's what we need too, is like to have women being allies on especially in film and TV, where it's so hierarchical. It's getting better now, but it's still pretty much there's still elements of a boys' club in a lot of cases, but it's getting better. It is getting better. Just gotta
That's awesome.
Hang in there.
20 more years will be good. No, could you imagine? No, it's got to go faster than that, right?
It has to.
Yeah, and younger women, they're strong. Holy, like they say stuff. They will do things. They're out there. They're they're gender fluid, and they're out and they're saying that, and they're not getting defined by other people, which is again another exciting thing that's happening, and we're all evolving. That's what we have to
Yes.
remember, is like we all evolve as humans, and as life goes on, we have to evolve along with it, or
you're stuck.
sorry. Or you're stuck. I have a friend I remember a long time ago who he said, I will not go to an ATM. I'm going to go to a teller. I need to deal with a person. And I thought, okay. And I remember just a couple of years ago, I borrowed money from him, and I said, here, I'm going to e-transfer. He goes, no, I don't do that. I said, you don't bank online? No. I said, you still go into a bank? Like, you go into a bank? I said, that's going to be, you're going to have narrower and narrower chances. And he said, because no, well, I know, he's starting to come around, but I just thought.
What's the phone situation? Flip phone, any phone?
Got one of those candlestick ones.
Yeah, right. We have a friend who just turned 50 and still doesn't have a cell phone. And I'm like, what?
Well, people say, I've heard people say, I never had one before, or I never had one before. I don't think I need one now. I'm thinking the world is changing. My cell phone is not just a phone; it's now my protection.
Yep.
My camera
Absolutely.
allows me to be safe, because I could be FaceTiming and say, okay, like, in fact, I have done that.
Yeah.
I FaceTime my friends. Okay, I'm walking through here, and just stay with me. They're with me, and they're watching what I'm watching. So there's that. There's also it's a computer. It's like a mini computer.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's your bank. It's your computer. It's your alarm clock. It's your everything. Yeah. Lifeline.
I think too, though, my parents grew up in a generation through the Depression, so there's that you deprive yourself of the luxuries that other people can afford, and therefore, so I know that me personally, I deprived myself forever until recently, because now I want stuff. Like, it's now I think, you know what, I deserve it.
Like so what? Like what, Laura?
Well, okay, goes back a few years, but like getting a Mac. I was always a PC driven, always on a PC, but always wanting a Mac because of the design element, the abilities and capabilities of it. And I finally broke down and bought one.
Yay. What about your drums too? Laura decided to become a drummer during the pandemic. Yeah. What? Right?
Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
Oh.
I haven't bought my cello yet. That's what I graduated out of grade 13 playing the cello. Nice. I always wanted one because I love that instrument, but I'm banging on the drums instead.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I get your because I bought my Mac 2 years ago, and again, same as you. I just thought, no, I had a PC for the longest time. And because during the pandemic, we had to do self-tapes, actors going in live, but that's the if it weren't for TV and film, I would have been so broke. So thank goodness that I could so when we were getting Serb, when I was getting Serb, I didn't buy my Mac with it, but I bought like lighting equipment and stuff like that. So I thought I need to do this.
Nice.
Or I'm gonna be out in the cold. So and then I booked some things, and I thought, I'm going to buy a Mac. And Laura, like you, I mean, I am so glad I did. I do so much. The only thing I have to say is that I got really used to Word and Excel. The Apple products, Apple, it's just not the same. I thought it's so clunky to me. And that's one thing I have to say, is that the Word and the Excel, like, I was like, maybe because I got used to it. I don't know. But I found it much easier to use.
Great. There goes our Apple sponsorship. No.
I bought one. I still bought Apple. No. I bought one. They're right here.
There is Microsoft for Apple. I just find that it's laborious to use as well. Like,
oh, really?
Excel for a Mac, just absolutely. I'm not talking about the numbers program that comes with your computer. I'm talking actual Microsoft. It's all in the cloud. But I find that the Excel has flaws. Like the cursor will jump all over the place. And it's like, what's going on? It just
Oh.
it's possessed, and so I end up doing everything I need to do on Google Documents or do Google spreadsheets. Then I
Yeah.
copy and paste it into my Excel.
Mhm.
Just
Wow. I haven't had that experience. The Word is good. Excel, I have the Microsoft Excel, and I find, I don't know, I find that works. I don't know
yeah.
if there's updates or something you need, or
I don't know.
don't know.
It tells me when there's an update, so I'm pretty up to date.
Yeah.
Because I have notifications turned on for everything,
right.
which I can I usually keep that up to date.
Okay, so speaking of bucket lists, last thing on our little
Okay.
list of questions.
Yeah.
What's something that you haven't done other than going to con? Because we heard that you're going to the Con Film Festival. Yay.
It's a Cannes series. I just got to make that clear, because it's not the
Series?
Cannes film, which is like TIFF.
Oh,
This
yes.
is a separate called Cannes series,
Yes.
which is for series.
Oh, very cool.
Okay.
Very, very. Anyways, you're going to France, girlfriend. Like, how exciting is that going to be?
It is exciting. I just thought, what do you wear? Like, I don't know what to wear down there, because the
I don't
Cannes
know.
series is a little more hip. Like, it's
Yeah.
not so formal is what I mean. They're both hip. It's just that this is not, it's not as formal. So
Yeah.
So go
Hit up
there.
some Canadian designers, girl. Don't you have a PR person or a PA? Be
I'm
like, hey.
Canadian.
or go to France and buy an outfit.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. In euros, I don't.
I know.
Oh, I know, right?
It's like US dollars, brutal.
But there's no GST. No. Right?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be. Yeah, I have to say, I don't know. Can I wear slides? Like, can I, comfortable footwear? Oh, they
Yeah.
have a pink carpet versus a red carpet.
Oh, very
Oh.
cool.
Interesting. Yeah. But what's
Very,
okay?
very
So
cool.
back to you.
Bucket list. What's something that you haven't done that you'd like to do? Sorry, Laura, I stole your question.
It's okay.
So Laura, in answer to your question and Julie's,
Yes.
yeah, it's a dream. Okay, so there are a couple of things. I would love to direct a feature. I've had some scripts floating around. Like, I still need to finish it, but yeah, I would love to do that. I would also love to one day do a show on Broadway.
Ooh.
And because I'm not a musical theater actor, it gets a little it gets a little harder, because I remember I ran into someone who was a producer and goes, you know what, you can go to New York and be fine. Like, you can find a career there, on Broadway, no problem. I said I'm not a musical theater. Are you talking about musical theater? He goes, oh yeah, I'm talking about musical theater. So apparently they do very well, but I just thought, just a straight play. Yeah, I don't know. That would be the other. Yeah, the
Nice.
other thing I would like to do career-wise.
And
go to
Canadian Walk of Fame?
I don't know. That hasn't hit me yet. That's not even on my radar. Like,
I think it should
my
be.
friend Paul just got a Governor General's award.
Yay.
Paul Lee from Cam's Convenience.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's awesome.
Yay. He's gonna play Uncle. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's gonna kill me for not knowing the name of the character on Avatar. Uncle. Oh my God. Beard. I can see it.
Yeah.
Anyway. He's
Papa Smurf?
No.
I'm kidding.
Avatar.
Well, they're blue.
That's true. They are. Yes.
No.
The avatars are the Smurfs were a subsegment of them, of the Avatar people.
The precursor.
Could you imagine?
That's true. They were there way before.
Yeah. So funny. Well, thank you so much, Jane, for coming and joining us today and speaking with us. You're such a pleasure. You are so multi-talented. Like, it blows my mind. I wish that I had half of your drive and ambition, because then I would be on the Canadian Walk of Fame, girl.
I'm shoving some your way.
Oh, I will take it all in.
We'll have to wait for some good weather to come and see you in Stratford.
Yes.
Oh, if you do, please let them know that just like stay and say hello. It'll be so amazing.
That'd be nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great.
So
Well,
much. This was so nice. What a great
Thank
conversation.
you.
Thanks, Jane.
Yay.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.